in the World Wide Web Foundation. We started off in 2011 with Pivotist as our conference and competition to try and bring attention to mobile entrepreneurship in the region. But before saying too much, I'll allow and welcome Mr. Moses Teribaro to give us a background of what Pivot is and what it's been about in the last 3 years.
First of all, thank you very much to the media for coming and joining us. Also our sponsors, Swiss Bank, Motorola, and all the supporters of Pivot East now in its 4th edition. And I'd just like to share with you a quick rundown of some of the things that we've achieved over the last 3 years, and hopefully, continuing that legacy into 2014. The very first Pivot East was actually held in 2011. At that time, it was known as Pivot 25. And the 25 is derived from the number of finalists who are selected, typically from hundreds of applicants in the form of mobile startups who actually compete in 5 different categories. We look at startups as opposed to developers because the focus of Pivot East is looking into how we can develop viable mobile-focused businesses from a regional point of view who can then become sustainable. So one of the key differentiators about Pivot East is that it's not about just the app. It's about building a viable and typically usually youth-driven business that is going to thrive within the region. We normally draw competitors from East Africa. That's from Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Burundi. Also in the last couple of years, we've extended into places such as Southern Sudan, and this year also Ethiopia. Last year was the first time that Pivot East was actually held outside Kenya. We had a very successful event held at the Sheraton Hotel in Kampala. That were involved heavily with the team at MLab in organizing. One of the things that I'd like to point out is that what again differentiates Pivot East quite a lot from some of the other competitions you might hear about where mobile apps are concerned is we go through a very rigorous process of selection. We actually spend a lot of time with the semi-finalists. We go through a process of first selecting 50 and then the ultimate 25 who are going to actually compete. And we have a panel of judges who score them, people from the industry, experts, who actually select the 50 and then the 25 who actually get to compete. So usually by the time we have the 25 finalists, those are the very finest and the very best startups who have been trained on all manner of different things around their business, such as financial planning, the makeup of their teams, and other key criteria to actually make them the best possible candidates. Also in the last 3 years, when we've gone through 75 finalists who've competed in the 3 different editions, MLab has actually directly invested $120,000 US into all the startups, which represents probably the largest amount of money that has gone into this sort of a competition. We also think that one of the things that's important about the Pivot East process is the way that we mentor and prepare the finalists. We also put a lot of time into outreaches. We travel throughout the region to Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, looking for startups at universities, and also working closely with our partners, which are other hubs like the iHub, places like the K-Lab, and others across the region who actually help us reach out to the mobile developers. And some of the interesting stories over the years is that although we've had the 3 different editions, many of the finalists have actually become well-known companies across the region. You'll find that companies such as Juice, which is a mobile gaming company, they last year had more than 50,000 people downloading their apps. Planet Trackers, who are known for Matri Racer, which was one of the winners in the previous editions, and today are working closely with Microsoft and the likes of Nokia to extend their reach globally. Kopo Kopo, who you might have read about recently, who raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for their startup. Eat Out, which is now expanding beyond Kenya, and they've raised, I think, in excess of $300,000 after Pivot East. Also, Sleep Out, who competed last year, who recently moved to Mauritius to set up operations. Again, another Pivot East alumni who's doing very well. Shimba Mobile, M-Farm, who are downstairs, Kitabu and Matru, which are also other names you might have heard of. And all of these people really got their lift off as a result of participating in Pivot East. I'd also like to point out that we're very, very happy to have the support of Chase Bank and also Motorola coming on board as our key sponsors this year. We also have Nation Media Group as our media partner for the year. And we do sincerely appreciate their support. And also, again, media, thank you very much for coming here today. We appreciate your support, and we're looking forward to really an exciting and highly successful fourth edition of Pivot East in 2014. Thank you.
With words like apps and developers, a lot of things have changed. Right now, we are focusing, and you know, in Facebook, you can't rename your page after 200 likes. But so we'll very much like to rename that in line with our focus on enterprises and startups as opposed to just apps and developers. And so basically every new year we improve on what we discovered in the previous years. I'd like to invite the MD of Immobilis, which is one of the consortium partners, to tell us a little more about what are the objectives for this year. To you. Yeah.
Thanks, John. Do you want me to start? Am I allowed to do this? Okay, sure. My name is Ken Manda. Thank you very much, John, for the introduction. I'm a co-founder and managing director of Immobilis. We do software development training, and it's a privilege to be here. I do want to thank the media and the sponsors before I forget for making the time to just come and participate in this briefing. This is the fourth year, as Moses mentioned, that we're putting on Pivot East. And I think it's useful in understanding the objectives for me to help you understand what the context is behind the MLab itself. So the MLab is the organization that puts this together, and it's one of 5 regional mobile laboratories around the world. It was actually the first that was set up by the World Bank. And the idea behind it was to have a center for excellence to highlight the area of mobile innovation. So what they said is, can we have local organizations in these countries that help to basically spur innovation, that basically train and create a whole new generation of young developers, and that put those countries on the spotlight in terms of what they're capable of doing, and hopefully also create employment and startups. And that's what the MLab has set out to do over the past 4 years. Now, as a part of that, Pivot East was born because you need a way to showcase the best, the creme de la creme. You need a way to bring together academia and industry and organizations in one place that becomes the place if you're interested in anything to do with mobile. So that's one of the key goals of Pivot East, is really, if I'm an investor, if I'm a student, if I'm someone who works for a mobile technology company or a startup, what is that one place that I can go over the course of the calendar that is the place that I will meet all the people that I need to meet to take my business forward? And so that's what Pivot East has become. The second major objective of Pivot East is to become a pitching conference par excellence. So if you're a startup organization, you have this really exciting idea for what you'd like to create, you think it's innovative, one of the key hurdles that we found for most startups was access to capital and lack of marketing budget. So Pivot East allowed investors to be able to come from all over the world. And last year, I believe we had over 10 to 15 investors from different parts of the world come in to see what Kenya has to offer. And not just Kenya, actually, but East Africa. And that's the third goal of Pivot, is to be regional. But if investors could come and be linked with some of the best and most innovative and most creative startups that this region has to offer, the place where they can do that, if they could do just one trip to the region, would be Pivot East, and it could be Kenya this year. Anyway. Last year it was Kampala. The other objective is for this to be regional, because we realize, and this is part of the mandate of the MLab, we realize that innovation will not be, there's no monopoly of knowledge or innovation in one country, in this region. And as part of what the East African community aspires to be, we believe that it was important for us to put in the efforts that Moses talked about to do the outreaches in Rwanda and in Uganda and in Tanzania. And so that's part of the reason why this is an event that hosts startups and innovators from across the region. So essentially, yeah, that's it for me. Again, thank you so much for being here. We're here for questions. And we look forward to having you at Pivot East as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Ken. One of the new things this year, in Pivot this year, is actually support from a local bank. a lot of startups tend to struggle a lot with access to capital, and increasingly we're seeing some banks take startups seriously. And Chase Bank has joined us this year as actually the gold sponsor, and we feel very privileged to have them on board because they are one of the most innovative banks and one of the most supportive banks of SMEs and innovations and startups. I'd like to invite to us the head of marketing, and she's the head of marketing and communications at Chase Bank. She's Magdalene Mulandi, who is going to tell us a little more about Chase Bank and the involvement in Pivot this year.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Magdalene Mulandi, and I am in the marketing and communications department at Chase Bank. Chase Bank is an innovative bank that fuels and is really an innovative partner for SMEs. Now, for us, the innovative space and the tech space is not one that we are afraid to venture into. We have in the past sponsored similar events, but similarly, we have been partners for SMEs who are in the technology space. So the reason why we're actually a gold sponsor for this event is because we believe that people in the technology space really do need to have a backing from a financial partner who will enable them to chase their dreams. Because being in a space that is more often shied away by financial partners, you need a bank that is willing to step in with you and take you to the next goal. Moses mentioned about several entrepreneurs who ordinarily wouldn't have gotten funding from banks, but have now gone to the next level to get funding and to be proper enterprises within Kenya. So I put together a very long speech, so I will just go through a couple of points. So one of the reasons why we felt that we wanted to be part of this is because there was a recent survey by Kenya Bankers Association that showed that 60% of Kenyans are using their mobile phones to do their banking transactions. Now that's an important space to be in. And you're seeing more and more banks getting into that space to ensure that they're giving financial services to their customers using technology. So for us, we feel that being part of Pivot East will enable similar organizations to just ensure that their apps come to enter the banking space, and that our customers are getting convenience and leveraging our technology to move to the next level.
Thank you, Magdalene. One of the things that we've kept noticing throughout the history of Pivot is consumer apps have been very popular amongst developers and startups. But then a question always comes up as to, are these consumer apps really going to be making money? And one of the things that's coming up is maybe enterprise solutions might increasingly be more handy for most startups and most software enterprises, in terms of the corporates and enterprises have money and they have problems that could be solved through enterprise mobile solutions. And this year we thought, so that we can emphasize and try and leverage the opportunities around enterprise, we have Motorola Solutions on board as a silver sponsor. And I'd like to invite James Kamweti from Motorola Solutions to tell us more about Motorola Solutions and how they'll be involved in Pivot this year.
My name is James Kamweti. I am the account manager for Motorola Solutions within East Africa, based here in Nairobi, Kenya. Motorola Solutions is a vendor company that specializes in enterprise mobility solutions. The reason why we are here today in partnership with MLab and Pivot East project is that we are motivated by a sense of responsibility to make an impact in the community and society in which we work and live in. I live in Kenya, I'm based in Kenya, and this would be a first initiative in the 85 years that Motorola Solutions has been in business. We have had local presence in Kenya for the past 50 years, and this is a project that we're proud and happy to be part of. We've had the success stories that Ken and Moses have talked about, and we would like to be part of that success story from the moment of inception to completion and to ensure that these startups and application developers build sustainability within the enterprise space and within the mobile application space. Asante.
And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank each and every person who stand up for this occasion. More specifically, thank you, Nathan from Switzerland and James from Corolla for having come in to be called and be responsible for this year. Thank you very much. And I do appeal for two other people also to join in this great initiative that is Pivotis. We want to thank our partners who have actually, some who are here, some are not here. But more importantly, also because the media event, great thanks goes to the media who have turned up so that we can make sure that as many people as possible know about the Pivotis. Thank you very much, Nation, Agent for turning up to cover this event. Now, on behalf of the partners, iHub, MLab, Worldwide Foundation, Worldwide Web Foundation, and the University of Nairobi, we want to assure you that Pivotis this year will be more than what it was the other years, and we look forward to more exciting events. You're welcome to join us, and we look forward to seeing you at the event. Thank you very much.